Welcome to Forensic Friday.
Where we examine the intersection of true crime, psychology, and the heart of being human in the middle of it all. Hello. Was that creepy? I need to rehearse them. You got me watching TV, taking a shower, and now you said you don't do that anymore, but I still do it.
No, because I wrecked my phone doing it.
I know, and I'm so mad. I didn't know how great
Wrecked
that
it.
was until I did it, you know?
You what?
I didn't know how great it was until I did it.
I know, but I stopped because people couldn't hear me.
Real good suction cup that has like the mag safe whatever, so it's on there good.
Yeah, but I think it's also part like the steam.
Oh shoot. I thought you can have it underwater, right?
Barely. It's not like it's like water resistant for like a second.
Is it? Oh, that's not good. I should probably stop. But I really
you could,
it.
you could get one of those like underwater bags and put it in there.
I am almost at that level because I like it that much.
No, I know it's hard.
And
It's hard not to when you stop.
Yes.
No, yeah, I have a hard time, especially if I'm watching something really good.
Well, and I love to multitask, so I did make a mistake though, and I watched Cape Fear, and it scared the bejesus out of me while I was in the shower. And I was like, like 8 o'clock at night, dark.
What is Cape Fear?
Oh, you gotta watch this. It's a remake of the old movie, but as a series on Apple. And it's pretty creepy. It's like weird and creepy. I don't even like it, but I have to see what happens because I can't remember the original movie. Anyway, it's a whole thing. And then we're watching Widow's Bay, which is so good. It's funny and scary. It's just good. It's like every horror movie trope is happening in this show. It's
so
great.
Funny.
No, it's good.
I have to tell you, so Grace, I put 2 pacifiers in her room at night.
Oh yeah.
Because in her crib, because sometimes she'll like accidentally throw one out. Well, I watched her after her nap today. She purposely pushed her pacifier out through the bars and then cried because her pacifier was on the ground.
She's like, well, I just want to see mom. And this gives me a good reason.
And so now she has one pacifier in her mouth and the other one is just on top of her head.
Oh my gosh. I used to sprinkle them in Mac's crib. He had like 4.
I know. That's what we got to do. Yeah.
Yeah. You spin, you find a pacifier. Everywhere you look, there's a pacifier.
Yeah. I know. Sometimes they end up on the same side of her crib. And then if she flips, she can't find either.
She's just in development like us all.
She's so funny.
What was I going to tell you? Oh, I was just downstairs talking to Garrett and he goes, I have some feedback for you and Nat. And I'm like, okay, go gently. It's been a week, already. Yeah. It's Wednesday. It's been a week.
I thought he would have liked our last episode.
Here's what he said. He said that we have been, get this, too empathetic about the personality disorders, and we're not saying enough about the impact on the people that they're dating.
Well, that's valid.
That's fair. I told him, I said, Gare, these people, though, they take a lot of hits, because
they do.
But they also give a lot of hits, sometimes physical hits.
True.
So I was like, okay, noted. I will bring this.
You have to say, I don't know if I should say this, so Gare might have to cut this out. You can be the assessor.
Oh, yeah.
I did have someone say to me, because of their personality disorder, they set up their own assault, which is just dumb.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I think to be in a relationship with someone with a personality disorder is a form of torture, and not because they intend to hurt you always in the ways that they do, but the damage can be severe.
Yes, but do you see what I'm saying, though? The person literally said because of their personality disorder, they antagonized their own assault.
100%, and probably recorded it.
Yeah, but that's not what happened.
What do you mean?
The person who told me this also has a personality disorder.
Well, yeah, when you get two of them, then they're just given as good as they get, I mean, it's bad,
Rob.
but
I'm
I
sitting
do.
there. Well, and then I ask a literal human in this arena who who has been diagnosed with a personality disorder. And I asked, would you set up your own assault? And he said, nah.
Interesting.
Because no
First of
one
all,
sets
I
up
still
their
don't
own.
think you can set up an assault. Here's what I mean by that.
Well, and do you see what I'm saying? So, like, let's say I'm the
Yeah.
identified victim. It
Yeah.
means that literally set it up to where I got assaulted.
And I would argue again, you can't do that.
No, exactly.
You can't do that. Now,
No one's going to do that.
do sick people get in each other's faces, push buttons, like do all of that? Sure.
Absolutely.
You and I teach you don't have to show up to every fight that you're invited to. And it is easier to not show up to that fight if you are emotionally healthy.
Yes.
But I agree with Gare that I think because we work with these folks, and the same is true with DV, we can sometimes skew towards empathy for people who have really difficult behavior. We
Yeah.
make them be accountable. Like we are hard on them in therapy. I have to tell you, like it is not, therapy with us is no cakewalk. It's just not. Really, even our voluntary clients, like we hold people accountable because we believe that's the best way for you to change and make good decisions. But it is genuinely painful to
Mm-hmm.
be in a relationship with someone whose dysfunction inhabits their personality
Yes.
because it shows up inconsistently, consistently inconsistent. Like it is unpredictable, predictably unpredictable. Like you don't know what you're going to get. The thing that you know for sure is you're going to get something different. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
probably get gaslit. The rules are going to change. And as someone who is fighting a few of these battles at the moment, it is really hard to navigate what is the truth, what is reality when you're in any kind of a relationship, friendship, anything with somebody who has a personality disorder. It's just tough.
Well, yeah.
It's really tough. So if you feel bad about how we talked about it because you've been hurt by this, there is also therapy for you. We could treat
Oh,
trauma.
yeah.
That's real. Also, run like you're on fire. If you're in the beginning of a relationship with someone who has personality disorder
Well,
behavior,
I literally said that in a kinder way in our episode.
I know. Well, here you go. I
That
just
if
took the band-aid right off.
we're at the beginning of the relationship, we might not want to stay.
Get out if you can. Uh-oh. One sec. Okay. Gare, we're back.
Sorry,
Minor 20-minute distraction. It's fine.
he's gonna hate us.
Oh, he's fine. Gare's fine. He's always fine. So I had a bit of a crash out a couple weeks ago in an unfortunate setting. This is not an MO of mine. It's like Gare called it a once in a decade crash out where I just absolutely just there's no living with me. And what's lovely about it is Nat intervened, but how you approached me was like someone approaching like an angry bull. Like you were just kind of like you even turned to the side and crossed your arms and you were like, "What do you need?" I'm
I
like,
know. I didn't know how to approach it because
it's not a normal look for me. I don't get mad.
no.
I don't get that mad very often at all.
Mhm.
And the sucky thing about sometimes being a woman when you're mad is then I'm crying and I'm not crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because I am royally pissed off and the anger is coming out of my eyeballs. There's no more room for it. It is like coming down my face. It's not great. But what prompted that crash out in particular was institutional patriarchal misogyny, which I don't do well with. I just don't. And that does not mean that I have an issue with strong men or people who choose to be in traditional relationships where the mother stays at home. It's none of that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm
Mhm.
talking about the abusive, coercive control mechanism by which women get hurt. and then explaining away that impact or minimizing that impact, that's going to piss me off until the day I die. I'm sorry. I could be 86 in a hospital bed. If I see somebody do that to a woman, I'm going to lose my shit for the rest of my life. So, fair warning, if you're listening to this with a child, which you really shouldn't be, this is going to be an allegedly filled episode, probably with some sorry Tinas, because it's just
That's
that
good, Pappas.
it's that bad.
Okay.
And it deserves to be covered in a way that reflects the actual impact of this behavior. And so we're going to do our best. We're not trying to curse a lot, but I'm also really, I'm pretty pissed about this. And basically, what happened is this crash out that I had then converged with some things that have happened in the news. And I'm just mad. And I'm a DV facilitator. And we spend a lot of time working on this issue with the men in our groups. And most of them are really great about it. They will learn, they will listen, they care about our perspective, and sometimes they don't. And this is an area that Nat and I have to really self-regulate well to be professional and handle this well. So the opinions that you hear us express in this podcast today are not how we feel about the clients that we treat. This is this issue on a massive multi-continent level, and it's just gross and yucky, and we need to label it accordingly. So on Saturday the 18th, U.S. Marshals arrested two men in Miami on their way to a bare knuckle boxing event, because why not? By Monday, they were in federal court in shackles, fighting extradition to the United Kingdom on rape and sex trafficking charges. Roughly half of the teenage boys in your kids' classroom know exactly who these people are, which is terrifying. So I'm obviously talking about Andrew Tate, maybe not obviously, but obviously, Andrew Tate and his, band of misfits. Okay.
This is brother too.
And his brother also, Tristan. And then also we have kind of mixed up in this an awful lot of cash and big systems kind of holding them up. Right? So I was just looking up their net worth, actually. I'm going to look up Tate Brothers' net worth. And obviously we have no special knowledge on this. Like, my
So
God.
can we talk about Andrew Tate's outfit?
Oh, God. They're nightmares. They're just literal nightmares. Also, Andrew Tate was born at Walter Reed Medical Center in DC because of his parents. It's a whole thing. And then Tristan was born in Chicago, which is embarrassing to me because I love Chicago. But they are extraordinarily wealthy. They think that their net worth is between $20 and $40 million. Now, they say they have $350 and to $500 million, which is not accurate, most likely. But
did I ever tell you briefly I worked with someone who liked Andrew Tate?
Oh, I've had clients tell me this, and I have to just keep my shit together. If it's DV client, I'm immediately no, right?
Oh, no, yeah, no, it was almost a situation like that, and
no.
I won't go into details, but they were like, yeah, they said something about Andrew Tate, and I was like, I literally looked at him and was like, I don't know if we're thinking of the same person. He was like, no, we are.
We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Southeast Counseling Center. Southeast Counseling Center is a 501c3 nonprofit mental health provider right here in Parker, Colorado, conveniently located just off major highways. We serve the whole family, from play therapy for kids to couples and family therapy, trauma treatment, psychological testing, and specialized groups. Access matters. That's why Southeast Counseling Center accepts Medicaid, TriWest, and victim compensation, and also offers a community subsidy program to help people who fall in the gap between Medicaid and traditional insurance coverage. And because we're a nonprofit, every dollar donated by the community goes directly towards providing treatment services for people who need help. Prefer to meet at home? Telehealth is available statewide, so anyone in Colorado can access our services. To get started, call 720-842-5553 or fill out our secure web inquiry form at secounseling.org. Southeast Counseling Center, care that is accessible, compassionate, and rooted in the community. I was shocked.
It's so much more
Shocked.
pervasive than we think it is. It is. And this is where people have to decide who they're going to be and where they're going to stand on some things. And so Nat and I don't like to see a lot of stuff being polarized because it's hard on us. It's hard on our relationships. This is a hill I will die on. I don't care how we're friends or how we know each other. I won't tolerate any part of this. Not any part of it. Because it hurts people, and it more specifically hurts women. So, we're not doing it. Okay. So let's talk about the arrest in their douchey outfits coming back from their bare knuckle boxing event. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were taken into custody on a sealed warrant. Their first appearance was Monday, this past Monday.
Okay.
And that was where they formally opposed extradition to the UK.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to get taken back to the UK. And I get the sense that most of their charges, I mean, they have charges both places, but lots of stuff in the UK. So the magistrate, Lauren Lois, and don't you know they pulled up and they're like, oh shit, it's a female judge. I'm like, yes, women doing things. So she ordered them held in federal detention. And she noted bail is rarely granted in international extradition cases because of the flight risk, especially if you're wealthy. They both hold dual US and UK citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
So here are the allegations, and I want to be very clear, these are allegations. Okay? They're not surprising.
Right.
It's like a little bit of if the shoe fits situation, like Cinderella, but also just allegedly because they haven't had their day in court yet. I'm very much looking forward to that. So the federal filings released Monday night detail complaints made by women to British officials against both brothers involving sexual and physical abuse, including claims the women were choked, sometimes to the point of passing out and raped. Per DOJ provided filings, 2 women allege that Andrew Tate strangled them unconscious and then penetrated them without consent. Details of 3 alleged rapes appear in the documents, 2 attributed to Andrew, 1 to Tristan. The accounts were consistent with each other, describing choking during sex, which we've talked about a billion times. We're going to talk about it again today. And in several cases, the women reported fearing for their lives. Prosecutors argued for continued detention, citing the severity of the accusations and what they characterize as a demonstrated willingness to evade justice. We have spoken about many times, and we went to a training. We were just at conference, and we went to a strangulation training where they said, what'd they say, Nat, that attorney, what'd she say?
Which part?
Remember? About consent.
Yes. Consent. Well, yeah, anything. What did she say?
You cannot consent to a serious bodily injury.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, somebody had to say it. Nat and I looked at each other like, oh my God. It's just
when it's like there's like a law.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's common sense, but y'all haven't sat probably in a room with someone who's defending the use of strangulation during sex and all of that stuff, and then acting like this is no big deal and it's not dangerous. And it makes Nat and I crazy. We have to have this conversation way more than is healthy or normal with the clients in the room with us. And this issue of consent comes up, and it's very much like she asked me to, she wanted me to, she this, she that. And Nat and I are like, dude, no, just no, like you can't consent to a serious bodily injury, and it could kill the person. And it is the most predictive risk marker for femicide,
Mm-hmm.
female homicide, single most. It is as close to a straight line as we get from a lethality perspective. And so even if you're doing that during your whatever sexy fun time, I don't know, it's still really, really dangerous. So the reason that they are facing extradition is because 7 women have reported offenses in east of England, north of London, between 2010 and 2017.
Dang.
So there's the Crown Prosecution Service, right, which is like the English feds, authorized 21 charges total.
Mhm.
Andrew faces 10 relating to 3 alleged victims, including rape, actual bodily harm, human trafficking, and controlling prostitution for gain. Tristan faces 11 charges relating to 1 alleged victim.
Mm.
There's a Romanian case. They've delayed it indefinitely because the brothers were able to have a travel ban lifted to fly to the US. So they are already on modified release and have continued traveling to Romania for monthly court appearances. So they should be in jail in Romania.
That's insane.
As of July 3rd, 2026, DICOT, I don't know what DICOT stands for, notified the brothers that the 2 Romanian criminal cases are being merged into one, and they will have a new indictment.
That's crazy.
Then there's also a UK civil case. 4 women granted anonymity allege physical or sexual violence between 2013 and 2015. 2 of them were in an intimate relationship with Tate, and 2 worked for his webcam business, which we will come back to. And the trial was moved up to June of 2026 from an original 2027 date. Court filings allege that 1 woman was threatened with a gun and another alleges she was strangled to unconsciousness during sex. Tate denies the allegations. His written defense asserts all sexual activity was consensual. So the brothers deny all allegations at this point.
I hate that.
That's their position.
So
right?
stupid.
Mm-hmm. Florida is investigating them because the National Center on Sexual Exploitation is representing a client who says I don't even know if it's a he or she, was coerced into a sex trafficking operation in Romania. And this client and the family has been subject to a campaign of harassment and witness intimidation, as you can imagine. These are also bad dudes on the internet collectively. And so you can imagine that these brave people who are taking a stand are putting themselves in the crosshairs of some nonsense, right?
Yeah.
The attorney, Joseph McBride, bless, I don't even how can you represent this, but whatever, maintains the brothers are innocent and should not be extradited for crimes they did not commit. He intends to argue they are not a flight risk and should remain in the US. Okay.
Your face.
Yeah, no, I'm like, put them on a plane, man. Chain them up and put them on a plane.
Yeah.
The defense is characterizing the arrests as politically motivated. And one of the attorneys has publicly urged the Trump administration to intervene. And the brothers have repeatedly framed the cases as political, attributing them to forces they call the Matrix, like they're being targeted.
They're idiots.
Yes. Isn't that just ridiculous?
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that's really interesting about this,
They have been investigated for years.
Yeah.
This is not a political driven thing. This is because Andrew Tate's a beep.
Well,
Sorry,
yeah, you can't say that. Can't say that. Too much. Down here trying to come up with the correct.
Okay,
term.
Garrett, how about Garrett? Just bleep it out. You don't have to.
We don't even know.
You don't have to take it out. Just bleep it out. If
There's
you know
not
how.
a word bad enough, honestly, to
I'm
represent
saying.
this behavior. They are unmentionable.
And you're telling me I can't even say those.
No, I know. It's bad. It's so bad. So bad. So let's talk about the background. Which is also not going to like endear you to these two jackasses. Okay. But we're going to try real hard to be rounded in this as much as it's not possible. Let's take them apart. So Andrew Tate was born. I know. I'm just like so ready. I'm mad like I was the other day. Also, we had to explain to someone a few days ago that what you say is likely what you did. If you threaten to do the thing and then do the thing, that just makes
You
sense.
probably did the thing.
It's harder to believe you didn't than to believe that you did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, that person was also like, yeah, I could see how you think that. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
I mean, okay. So, Andrew Tate, born December 1st, 1986, at Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Washington, D.C. His father's African American, Emory Tate, and it looks like his father passed away in 2015. I don't know if I'll come back to that or not. His father was an international chess master.
That when his effery started, his big effery. No,
I
I'm trying here.
think there's been effery the whole time. Solid effery. So then his white English mother, Eileen, worked as a catering assistant. And then he has his younger brother, Tristan, as we know, he's wrapped up in this, and a younger sister, Janine. On behalf of Janine, everywhere, Janine, testify against your dumbass brothers. Please nail in the coffin. And if you back them up, then we denounce you. Janine's everywhere, like, boop, you're out of the club.
Yeah, you're
like
out.
So he grew up in Chicago and in Indiana, Goshen, Indiana. After his parents divorced in 97, he moved with his mother and brother to Luton, England. His father served in the U.S. Air Force as a sergeant, excelled as a linguist, and reportedly worked as a CIA linguist before he learned Russian.
All right, opened a link.
Andrew Tate was a 5-time U.S. Armed Forces chess champion in the Emory Tate, sorry, the dad. 5-time U.S. Armed Forces chess champion in the 80s. A record still unbeaten, which is wild. He taught his sons chess, but was frequently absent from home, played chess in the US, across Europe. Super smart, right? Eileen was a working class English woman, and the family attended church with the cousins. A paternal aunt described young Andrew as protective of his cousins, seating them at the dinner table and making sure they had the right plates. The family relocated to Luton amid financial hardship, living on the mother's catering income. So Andrew Tate grew up multiracial in a predominantly white working class English town. He learned chess at the age of 5, again, because his father was such a good chess player, competed in adult tournaments as a child, and then he began martial arts and boxing in 2005 while working as a television advertising salesman. And then he also won a full contract cruiserweight title in Derby. So this is not a stupid. Okay, let me back up.
Not a stupid family.
This is the most intelligent, stupid son of a bitch I've ever come across. So
yeah,
the intellect is there in terms of chess, and I think also the way that he thinks and manipulates and moves pieces into place, it makes sense that he's this chess master with a big brain.
I'm really curious though. So I'm looking at a picture of their family.
And
him and his brother honestly look like twins. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, they look really similar.
They look like the same age and everything. It's just, I just wonder, like, okay, this is a stretch, but it almost reminds me of, like, I don't know, it's not the same, but like the Menendez brothers.
We'll be right back.
If you work with court-ordered clients, you already know the system can be overwhelming. Documentation, coordination, compliance tracking, billing, on top of actually doing the therapy. That's why we want to tell you about Reliatrax, a one-stop platform built specifically for therapists working in the court-ordered space and voluntary treatment. Reliatrax helps you stay connected with probation and referral sources so everyone's on the same page and your clients get the best care possible without the endless emails, calls, and paperwork. And here's the exciting part. Reliatrax now offers Aura, their new AI assistant. Aura helps streamline documentation, keeps you organized, and supports your workflow so you can spend less time clicking boxes and more time doing clinical work. Reliatrax also supports insurance billing, including Medicaid, making it easier to serve both court-ordered and voluntary clients all in one system. No juggling platforms and no workarounds. And the other amazing thing is you have an actual team of people who can support you, not some automated system. If you're looking for a smarter, more efficient way to manage compliance, communication, and care, Reliatrax was built for this. Check out Reliatrax and see how it can support you, your clients, and the systems you work in without burning you out. You can go to www.reliatrax.com to get started. Yeah, I would say minus the abuse. I mean, I don't know.
But that's what I'm wondering. Like, I wonder what his family was like.
I don't know. I can tell you one interesting anecdote.
Okay.
And you tell me how this lands with you. And women everywhere are going to be like, ah, but I'm going to share it anyway. The woman, somebody just jerked their car when I yelled. Sorry about that. The moment that I want you to think about, okay, because it's a documented exchange, when their sister stopped talking to their father over his infidelity, so he cheated on mom, Andrew and Tristan stayed in contact. Their father told them, boys, when you're older, you'll understand. Andrew later said, now I'm older and I understand. He fucked a girl. So he added the concept of cheating is propagated by Western society and the powerful females. Okay. Cool. So what's interesting about this, Nat, is here's my theory, and I want you to tell me what you think.
That makes me so mad.
I think actually this betrayal of mom did hurt the family, and people tend to respond one way or another. I think sister was like, absolutely not. You cheated on mom. Like, this is terrible. My parents know if they cheated on each other, like, I'm going with the winner of that fight. Like, whoever didn't hurt the other parent, I'm going to have a hard time embracing that behavior. It doesn't mean I wouldn't still love them, but there's going to be some work to do, right? And instead of taking any kind of position that way, they just dissolved it as a problem at all. Those two. It's just like, boop, didn't happen. And we see this in offender treatment where there's a system of justifications to avoid accountability. And it seems like they took that on instead of really looking at what happened in their family. Could that be part of the birthplace of their rhetoric about women, is instead of seeing that this impacted their mother and their sister, quite frankly, they took the other position of, duh, that's what happened, like, big deal.
I think it introduced them to this idea of objectification. Because that's what Andrew Tate, and obviously his brother too. I mean, that's what they think of women as objects. I mean, this type of community, this community believes that we should go back to like when women didn't have choice.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like rape within marriage wasn't a thing, is what they believe.
Yes. Well, and even that freaking pastor, what is his name? There's this pastor who said that we need to go back to one household voting. Like the household gets one vote.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Because feminism robbed men of their household vote. Oh, no, I watched 20 minutes of a thing with him and I was like, if I could crawl through a screen, unbelievable.
But I think these guys, the Tate brothers, probably got this idea of how to view women from their dad, right? So if he's like, if he literally said, which I believe him, you'll understand when you're older, that's literally like him being like, yeah, you see like I was going to say something totally different, a hot woman,
Right.
and you'll get it.
Yeah.
It also, what I will say, it's like so infuriating. What I will say is strong women will cheat on men like this. I'm just saying.
Well, they don't end up together.
Well, they don't end up, well, no, but I mean,
Strong
they
women aren't going to
can.
be with a piece of shit like this. I'm sorry.
I've talked to women though. I've talked to women where they are with a man like this and they cheat on a man like this with a man who is actually caring and
Oh
empathetic.
no, totally. But they
You
must
know what
have
I
been
mean?
together real young before they were radicalized, because truly strong women don't have a conversation with a man.
No,
They don't have
100%.
a brain in their head. But
100%.
yes, would they leave them for a kind person? Absolutely.
Yeah.
These
So,
kind of men leave wreckage in the people that they date and their
oh yeah,
wives and their children.
trauma. I mean, it's freaking, like these guys make
Mm-hmm.
Army Hammer look soft, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, it's like a similar, it's like a similar dynamic, like, property ownership. And I believe that they probably got that viewpoint from their dad.
Yes. And again, context. There are some
Mhm.
boys out there who would see their dad cheat and do take up for mom. And they're like, I'm never going to be like you. You're a philandering jackass.
Yeah.
But that wasn't these two knuckleheads. And I think they just reinforced each other's nonsense,
Hmm.
you know? So there's a few things that I think, and you can add to this, Nat, but formed kind of the foundation for their ideology. And let's be clear, this is like a Taliban level ideology. Like there are followers and they are
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
committed to this. Okay. There's actually an intersection between this terrorism, racism, and incel culture.
Yeah.
Like there's a place where all of these
Easily.
intersect.
Yeah.
So they had an largely absent father whose status came from competitive dominance. So military chess, unbeaten records, he achieved. He would achieve,
Hmm.
right? And it wasn't connection and being a father, it was achievement, right?
Hmm.
From an American military family to financial hardship in England, they had downward mobility and kind of with that relocation lost kind of a sense of self and a sense of prominence. They were outsiders in their English town. And then their kickboxing and their physical prowess gave them body-based hierarchical dominance.
Hmm.
The winner is undisputed, right? There's structure to it. And then the other thing that they did is they monetized their persona as they were developing their ideology.
Mm.
They launched a program called the PhD Pimping Hose Degree Program.
What?
Launched it in 2018 as a $450 video course instructing men on how to attract women.
Wait, what is this called?
It's called Pimping Hose Degree, PhD, and it was a $450 video course instructing men on how to attract women. And that product came before they fully developed their freaking philosophy.
Oh my God, I hate them so much.
Uh-huh. So is this a belief or a business model? Or both?
Oh, it's both.
I think it's both. I think they're making a lot of money off of sick men, you know?
Well, they're making money. Here's the sad thing. They're making money off of men who are wildly insecure,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
who have been rejected their whole lives.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of getting help and figuring out how to be authentically confident,
Mm-hmm.
they turn to these jackwagons
Oh, yeah.
who are super abusive
100%.
and who basically just tell them, like, you're the man, you're the owner of these women, and, whatever.
I hate it so much. There aren't words. There really aren't words for how much I hate this. Now, interestingly, when we speak to men who are, this is a gross generality, but I will
Their
say,
website has been taken down,
oh,
by the way.
I'm sure it has.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
When we're talking about men who hold these beliefs, I will say when Nat and I in group talk about the deep respect that we have for our husbands, there's a longing that I see in the men in the room when we talk about it. They are edge of their seat around that topic in particular, because I think women are amazing at emasculating men because we're so frustrated and overburdened and the mental load, et cetera, et cetera. That's women stuff. But I think women can be really, really, really harsh. And so I think a lot of men want to be respected. They just don't know what that looks like. And then that turns into dominance. If I'm not being respected, I will make them respect me, which is weird and wildly different than how it works really in relationships. But these men decided we're going to dominate. We're just going to dominate. And women actually secretly like that. Spoiler alert, we don't. We really don't. We really, really don't. We don't like abuse. We don't like this.
Healthy women don't.
Healthy women don't like this. And I've had so many frustrating conversations this week in this regard. We can see the radicalization that's happening online. We can see it in our DV cases and in who we're working with. And we still work with a lot of great men who are working hard on themselves and they love their children. But we are seeing it has been skewing in this direction for years. And so we're having this conversation a little more often than we used to. So let's talk about the manosphere. Okay. The manosphere is a loose network of communities that claim to address men's struggles. And the way in is dating, fitness, fatherhood. That's kind of the way in, right? These men are curious about those things. They come in, and then Andrew Tate and his minions promote harmful advice and attitudes. These groups are typically united by an opposition to feminism, and they portray men as victims of the current social and political climate. 2/3 of young men, and this is per the Movement Foundation, 2/3 of young men regularly engage with masculinity influencers online. We're seeing a major uptick in people using testosterone, which is not necessarily bad. A lot of men need testosterone, so I'm an issue with that. However, I've also counseled men who were on so much testosterone, they were a literal like bull shark. One of them actually threw horns through a wall. It was nuts. So, and he had way too much testosterone. So there's like a lot of weird things happening. TikTok videos of the Andrew Tate, have been viewed approximately 11.6 billion times. Tate directed followers to paid, quote, Hustlers University and, quote, war room courses at roughly $50 a month and $8,000 annually, respectively. Okay. So these men and boys come into these forums because they're feeling alienated in mainstream culture. And even if only a few go all the way to the really extremist stuff, research from the Institute for Strategic Dialogue suggests the pathway is there. So even if only a few go that way, they do go that way, and they typically enter over here. Extreme manosphere language normalizes violence against women and girls, but has increasing growing links to radicalization and extremist ideologies. And what happens is these men come in and they're in these environments that promote misogyny and male supremacy, also offering belonging and purpose, especially to young men, and they feel heard. They feel heard, validated, right? And these men reinforce narratives that men are supposed to, as you said, objectify and control women, treating them as property rather than people, and normalizing control and punishment when women and girls do not conform.
Mm.
If that doesn't make you want to buy a gun, I don't know what will. Project Starlight, a 2021 research project, found that people who had experienced, witnessed, or perpetrated domestic abuse were overrepresented in referrals to the UK government's Prevent Counterterrorism program.
Mm.
Right? This is a documented pattern. And you and I have talked about domestic violence to mass shooter, like that line. And it doesn't mean our domestic violence clients are going to be mass shooters. It does mean they tend to be a real dangerous call for law enforcement. And in extreme cases, that can be a precursor to mass violence.
Right.
Right? So when we look at this, and there's more stats I'm not going to get into, but when you look at intimate partner violence and intimate partner sexual assault in Canada, Canada has some good shit, man. They just get good research done. They tracked a 19% increase in police reported intimate partner violence from 2014 to 2022. A 163% spike in reports of intimate partner sexual assault. And we are seeing more of this. We saw strangulation increase and it's staying high. Wouldn't you say, Nat, we've seen an increase in sexual assault, documented sexual assault as a part of the DV cases?
Mm-hmm.
To a degree that I think you and I are going to have to become SO evaluators eventually to capture that risk, because they're starting to require both. So only doing them as they pertain to DV cases with intimate partner. But that knowledge base we're going to need to have, because the correlation was already strong, but it's getting stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that the manosphere alone is creating that increase, but it is not helping.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Correlation, not causation.
Right.
So one of my questions for you is, how do we get at a belief system? I have a few clients whose like kids
Mm-hmm.
are starting to get into this stuff, like teenage boys. And it is horrifying to a couple moms that I work with. How do we intervene when people are exploring this kind of ideology?
What do you mean?
So if you have a son who, you're not watching everything he does online, but he starts saying things or starts to take a counter position to maybe what you've always taught them about men and women both are deserving of respect. You know, men should be kind and protective. That's actually respectable behavior. Like you've done your best to raise them,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you maybe start hearing this ideology. What do you do? What do you do with that? How could you intervene if you're hearing some of that stuff starting to come out of your kid or your brother or your whoever,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, I would try to figure out what the source is,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Well, the source is Andrew Tate, but it's the algorithm.
But if you don't know, right? So like if
Mhm.
I'm like a new, I'm parenting a boy and they start to say all this stuff. I mean, obviously you and I would know, but
Mhm.
um I'd want to try to figure out the source. And I would honestly, I mean, we would talk about it. We'd talk about like why that ideology is harmful and the road that it can lead down. I mean, it depends on the age, but my guess is they're probably a teenager if they're spouting this stuff off.
Mhm.
Um, and so if they're old enough to listen to that, then they're old enough to have counter conversations about why that's problematic,
Oh yeah.
but addressing the things. And then you and I talk about this all the time. Like kids and teens, there is a level of privacy that's appropriate and a level of privacy that's not. And
Oh yeah.
my whether I have another kid or not, doesn't matter. Whether I have two girls, boy, girl, just have one girl. I will know exactly what they're watching
Yeah,
all the time until they move out of my house,
100%.
you know?
Oh, yeah.
So it's monitoring. It's monitoring in a healthy way. It's knowing what they're looking at, knowing what they're watching. And if they happen to stumble upon something or their friend shows them something at school, like you talk about it.
Well, and yes, I love that, Nat. And I think if this is a kid, like an emerging adult or a teenager, I think grounding that conversation in your own experiences will help a lot. So I think being
Hmm.
soft, depending on the age, is really helpful.
Yeah.
If this is a peer, go for the jugular. I mean, don't actually stab them, but I mean, with your words, like bam, throat punch. I mean, you
Right.
got to just let them have it
Right.
to the degree that is embarrassing. Like, I think you got to let them have it. But if this
Yeah.
is a developing human and you're their parent or a trusted adult in their life, I
Mhm.
think it's imperative that you go softly because they're trying to figure out who they are,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
On an adult peer level, if you let them speak this way and you stay in relationship with them, you are co-signing their nonsense. The other thing is they're antagonistic and they enjoy it. So when men come in with this philosophy with Nat and I'm just like, I just categorically disagree with you. Do you like what you're saying or not? And if they like what they're saying, then the answer is, I don't like talking to you.
Right.
That, I mean, there's just like there's a realness to that. Or if it's a friend, it's like, I can't be with somebody who devalues women to this degree. I'm not co-signing this. I'm not gonna fight with you about it because that excites you. I'm not
Mhm.
doing that either. Like, I'm gonna gray rock your ass and I'll see you when you figure it out or not, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
But I think when they're younger, they just need a little bit of room because they're figuring out their identity.
Yeah.
And if the algorithm is serving this up to them, it feels like something sure. It feels like a path,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
so that's really important. And I think if a mom in particular is too abrasive with this, they run the risk of doing exactly what the internet is saying women do,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
get your husband involved or your boyfriend or a trusted adult. Like, they really probably need a lot of this feedback from a man. And we see men give each other feedback in our groups,
Yeah.
right? So the other thing I want to talk about is coercive control. So we've talked about this objectification thing, but
Mhm.
Andrew Tate is an expert in coercive control, not just of women. And I'm talking about like this lover boy plot where they lured women to properties in Romania with promises of romantic relationships and finances and all this craziness, right? That's coercive control over women. They
Right.
also coercively control their followers.
Mhm.
So if you're
100%.
listening to them, you are their
100%.
bitch. I'm sorry, you heard it here first. Do you like that? Andrew Tate's bitch. If you are listening to them, and oh, sweet man, if you are, yeah, I doubt you're still hanging in there, but if you are, God bless you.
Yeah.
And you are his bitch, and you might as well make a t-shirt that says
You're,
Andrew Tate's bitch because
you're
that's who you are. Is that
hilarious.
not true?
No, it's true.
Paying money to turn you into a crazy person. That's
Mhm.
what you are. You're paying for his private jet money, like really. What are
Yeah.
we doing? So the control methods with women were what I said, kind of this gaining influence, right? So it's manufactured intimacy,
Mhm.
geographic isolation, financial entrapment, partially
Mhm.
by buying things for these women and then making it seem like they owe them,
So gross.
image-based sexual abuse as a leverage, which makes it socially catastrophic to leave them,
Mhm.
physical violence at the point of refusal, and surveillance. Surveillance.
Mhm.
Those aren't six separate criminal behaviors. It's all part of one criminal system.
Mhm.
And we see a lot of these elements in DV cases as well,
Yeah.
right?
All the time.
All the time.
Mhm.
The other thing with the Romanian investigation, which is really gross, is they used vulnerable victims to produce pornographic material, which generated $2.8 million, 2.5 million euros, kept by them.
Mm-hmm.
And it included minors. Sexual intercourse with minors. And that happened allegedly. Again, allegedly. But again, if you talk the way that they talk about teenage girls, is it hard to believe that they did this to teenage girls? No.
Right.
But that was from 2014 to 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And the really terrible thing is the people who signed up for the war room, which was like the elite chat teaching structure that they had going on, were some of the worst ones. And they actually showed war room members, again, allegedly, but they have some of this material already,
Mm-hmm.
teaching these members to exploit victims. They taught these men how to groom women into online sex work.
Insane.
Again, for the record, Andrew Tate denies wrongdoing and said the BBC findings of all of this evidence and people who've been involved in this,
Mm-hmm.
another brazen attempt to present one-sided, unverified allegations. So that's their position.
Yeah.
Right? And one of the things that I want to make very clear, and I think that you can speak on this too, when people view pornography, they typically look at worse and worse stuff over time. And so this material that they were presenting was getting worse and worse and worse. And I'm not going to go into details, but it's a lot of violence. And there's a quote from him where he talked about the appropriate response to a woman accusing a man of cheating.
Oh, God.
And he posted a TikTok description
Of the appropriate response a woman should have?
of pulling a machete that they should have to the woman who accuses them of cheating. So, mom accusing dad of cheating. They didn't tie that. That's the therapist in me.
Right,
Okay.
right.
But pulling a machete, grabbing by the neck, slapping, choking, all the rape, all the things. That's the response
From the cheater.
from the cheater to the woman who accuses the man of cheating.
That's insane.
The reason I'm sharing that is not shock value. It's
hate men.
because this is one of the posts that they can point to that shows that they were advertising and reinforcing violence and sex together, and control, coercion, domestic violence, all of that, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So here's the question. If a young man comes into treatment and uses some of the language that points to Andrew Tate, which we've heard some of that in treatment,
Mhm.
it doesn't mean that they are fully in this schema, that they completely believe that this is how the world works. Part of what we're looking for is structure,
Mhm.
right? Every therapist who is listening, every parent, every person who is listening to this, we want you to hear that non-fatal strangulation should be on every risk assessment, everyone's radar, and it should trigger escalation. This
Mhm.
isn't something you just write down in a chart or noted in a personnel file or a student's file or whatever else. If you see this stuff,
Mhm.
this is a place for intervention. It has to happen. The other thing that you want to look for is grievance plus minimization of people, meaning I hate women, but I also minimize my impact on them. Right? They feel justified by being an out group, like they've been wronged. And this creates that persecutory idea and delusion that frequently will cause them to be violent. Right? So the ideology is a product. People are buying videos. There was a $5,000 plus Telegram network, right? This is the mechanism. Even if these brothers don't see the light of day again, which they totally will eventually. I think they may go to prison, but at some point here, they're going to get out of custody and spend a little time. I just think, and then they'll appeal and they'll pull all their rich man stuff.
Yeah.
But even if they go away, I don't believe the audience goes away. It's made a cultural shift happen that has grown beyond these brothers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so one question I have, Nat, is how do we as a society tackle some of this stuff? If there's been this shift, we've seen it through COVID. I think some of what we've attributed to COVID is actually this ideology run amok.
How so?
Well, what else happened during COVID? People were home all day long. You're not listening to Andrew Tate at work or watching his videos at work much, right? So part of this is we went online in droves.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's a big part of it. And then I also think that women, we know this from research as well, took on an outsized role. Women left the workforce in droves to take care of kids, which made them angry and resentful, which
Yeah.
created difficulty at home. And I think there were a lot of men scrolling at night,
Yeah.
exhausted after another fight with the missus. And where do they land? Andrew Tate.
Yeah. Well, the algorithm lands them in not great spaces. Yeah. That makes sense.
So how can we shift this, like, from a prevention perspective? That's the heart of this one, besides, like,
Yeah.
by Felicia. Like, I want them gone. That would make my heart happy. But
Yeah.
the heart of this episode for me is how do we turn the tide on this thing a little bit?
I think what's hard about that question is, like, I've always said I can't work with kids because I can't work with it'll sound like a weird way to say it. I can't work with the symptom of the root of the issue. I have to get to the root of the issue, which is why we work with DV. Right? So it's hard because the root of this issue obviously is them, but it's also like people believing in this ideology. And when I've worked with people who are deep believers in this ideology, it's really hard to change their mind.
Really hard.
So it's a tough question because, like, I want to say I would want to get to the root of the issue, which is the people who believe in this. But, like, I've worked with them, and oftentimes they don't change their concept of this. And so I would go to the symptom and work with women who are attracted to this type of human and, probably do trauma work.
Yes, I think that's still on an adult level, because I agree with that. I think we've got to empower women. We need to help our boys.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things that I read when we were prepping for the psychopathy presentation, and as I was researching for the book, and I have a whole chapter, Where Are the Men? Because that's the whole thing. But one of the things that I researched is the single most consistent thing that came up over and over again that can stem the tide of psychopathy in emerging adults and teenagers is a warm maternal or maternal adjacent figure And if they don't have that, or they have an abusive maternal figure, and we've seen this, the outcomes are way worse.
Mhm.
And so I think people who are foster care parents or mentors, or I think we push really hard to have good male role models, which we desperately need. But when you look at psychopathy in particular, there's a maternal nurturing that actually makes a difference. And so when I've worked with adolescent gang members and worked with some of those populations, they respond so well to that kind of firm but funny, kind, consistent presence. They respond really well to that. And it's one of the reasons I think you and I work well with younger men. And they typically, when we take a 20-year-old into our groups, we have to do that very carefully, because we don't want to push them into a higher risk demographic just by who they're in group with.
Mhm.
But we do give them a little bit of room. And typically they sit right next to us, especially if they're quiet, which is hilarious. But we do individual sessions. We spend a little time with them. We check in with them.
Yeah.
And they really need help.
Yeah.
They just need help. So if we can find some of our disenfranchised teenagers
Mhm.
and young men and give them that solid support, it would make a difference a
Yeah.
bit in this. It's hard to hate somebody up close. When you've got women in your life who care about you, it's harder to hold these beliefs.
Yeah.
It is harder, unless your face is in your phone all the time absorbing it.
Right. Right.
You know?
Yeah. I'm glad you covered this because this is a heavy one.
I'm so thankful when they were in cuffs. I'm like, yes,
Oh, I know. I saw that and I posted it immediately.
I have wanted this for so long. And again, allegedly, they can have their day in court. I'm looking forward to it. I don't believe it's going to go well, but everyone's innocent until proven
Yes.
guilty.
They're
Oh,
just terrible. But they've been like arrested so many times for the same stuff. I'm like, bro, if the shoe fits, you know what I mean?
also, when you say the thing, you're going to do the thing. Like, that is a straight line. I'm sorry.
It is.
We've had people argue with us. Well, I just said I didn't mean it. It's like, that's good luck. I mean, I don't know. What are you gonna? The evidence alone. I'm just picturing like cross-examination of a witness, and it's like, did you say the following? Did you post the following? Did you,
Right.
oh my God, I mean, popcorn.
You literally
Popcorn.
text the following and you did the
Yes.
following.
Did you teach men to do the following? Did you?
Right.
I mean, goodbye. Na 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 na. I'm like, bye,
Bye
bye,
bye.
bye, bye. And they'll put up a fight. So I may have to like stay home from work to watch in court when they have to testify, because the cross-examination is going to be yummy. And if they do it in the UK, there's nothing like a scalding Brit humor. So I'm like, go get him. The
Go get
questions alone will just send me. It's gonna be like, did you or did you not? I'm like, yes, go get him.
100%. Oh my God.
Right? And if they can only say yes or no, which frequently on the stand you can only say like yes or no, it's gonna be like, did you say this? And it's like receipts, you know? Oh, I can't wait. It's gonna be so great.
We have it.
We have it right here. You said the thing.
You're
Like,
dumb.
the whole thing. Allegedly. Not allegedly on what you said.
No, I mean if they've got receipts, there's no allegedly there.
There's no allegedly on what these men believe and have espoused. The only allegedly is on what we can prove they did.
Correct.
So, Godspeed.
Godspeed.
Thank you for joining me on this wild ride. We will have updates as the case unfolds. It's going to take for freaking ever, but
Oh my gosh.
we'll be here for all the things.
Yes.
Skinny pop popcorn and I'm going to have to watch that.
Yeah, they're psycho.
So we will see y'all next week as always.
Bye, forensic friends.
I'm Janine.
And I'm Nat.
And as always, thanks for listening, and join us next week for more crime, psychology, and heart.